Coming up at 4:30, newly released numbers show the major impact the bourbon industry is having on Kentucky's economy. Plus, life-threatening weather hits Southern California, how emergency crews are working to save people from rising floodwaters.
Plus, we are tracking a more soggy forecast later this week. Those details coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
One of the state's signature industries is seeing record-breaking success. Lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle joined the governor and other elected officials in an announcement about the bourbon industry today. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what they had to say this afternoon.
This report took into account numerous impacts of the state's bourbon industry, including tax revenue, jobs, and tourism. Every 2 years, the Kentucky Distillers Association releases a report of the impact of bourbon on the bluegrass. And President Eric Gregory says 15 years ago, it was not nearly the signature industry that it is now. But a report now states that it's a $9 billion economic force, producing a record 2.7 million barrels of bourbon in 2022. There are 100 licensed distilleries operated by 84 companies in 42 Kentucky counties, creating more than 23,000 jobs.
The Kentucky Bourbon Trail is growing faster than we've ever seen. We rebounded from COVID a lot quicker. 2.5 million visits, total attendance last year. And read the report. There's economic numbers there and there for the first time, too. And while bourbon, of course, is the initial announcement today, there's other ingredients that make bourbon that benefit others, such as the 21 million bushels of corn and other grains that come from Kentucky farm families. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Officials say the growth in the bourbon industry is not slowing down as more distilleries are currently under construction in Kentucky, including ones in Garrett and Laurel counties. The Elkhorn City Council is working on recovery after realizing the city is more than $300,000 in debt. The council hosted a special meeting last night to discuss the issues. It was packed, as you can see. And they are trying to take responsibility for not being aware of the financial state of the city. Officials say there was a lot of misappropriation of funds and terrible communication between the council and the clerk. Now they are working with a state auditor to find out how much money they have to work with and where everything went.
It's not pretty, it's not great, and we don't like what's happening, but we do want to get it fixed and get it taken care of and just make sure everybody is accountable for what's going on.
Councilman Mike Stacy says this issue has to fall on the shoulders of the council, not the previous clerk who has since been replaced. We will have more from that meeting coming up at 6.
We are tracking plenty of sunshine and blue sky across the mountains on this Tuesday afternoon. Let's take a live look from sunny Rowan County at I-64 over in Moorhead. That current temperature up to 50 degrees. We should be in the 40s. So once again, we are above average on this Tuesday. Not a drop on the radar as high pressure is the big story on this Tuesday. As you can see, as we zoom out, high pressure close to Memphis, also high pressure close to the Great Lakes. That will bring some more dry weather as we go into tonight, also for Wednesday and most of your Thursday as well. Those current temperatures in the upper 40s and lower 50s on this Tuesday, up to 52 in Irvin, also Somerset, 51 for London, and 53 over in Manchester, also at Harlan at this hour. We are a little bit cooler on this Tuesday. Most of us about 10 degrees cooler than we were on Monday, but that is short-lived as we're back in the upper 50s and lower 60s as early as tomorrow, also on Thursday, as high pressure controls the forecast for the middle of this week. But we are tracking a few changes by Thursday night, also by Friday and the weekend as more showers are possible. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, thank you, Cameron. Many areas of California are digging out from mounds of debris after a powerful storm system triggered more than 300 mudslides and landslides during the past few days. As CBS's Jonathan Bigliotti reports, the historic amounts of rain have left at least 3 people dead.
I don't know how I'm alive right now.
PJ Bearfield says it felt like an earthquake when a mudslide crashed through his LA home without warning. The massive gush of debris knocked out the back walls of his home, destroying his bedroom as he slept and coating everything in thick sludge.
Literally, it just happened in 3 seconds. Rumbling, big bang, throwing debris and pieces of the ceiling off of my body.
The historic atmospheric river storm system is bringing record rainfall to Southern California, triggering more than 300 mudslides over 3 days.
This storm continues, and that means we still need Angelenos to take precautions.
Falling trees killed at least 3 people as powerful winds ripped them from the ground. Firefighters rushed to save residents from rising waters, including a man who reportedly needed to be airlifted from the LA River after jumping in to save his dog.
I have to move out.
In LA's Baldwin Vista neighborhood, this resident is being forced to relocate after her home was destroyed.
They're going to come pack up my house tomorrow and put it in storage. So I am super overwhelmed.
As the cleanup begins, President Biden is pledging to provide federal aid to areas hard hit by this storm. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Los Angeles.
More showers are possible Wednesday and Thursday before the system moves out of the region. In about an hour, the House of Representatives will vote on its impeachment resolution against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Republicans allege Mayorkas committed high crimes and misdemeanors for his handling of the southern border. Democrats argue the evidence does not reach that high bar. If the full House passes the articles, Mayorkas will become the first cabinet secretary to be impeached in nearly 150 years. The Democrat-controlled Senate would then hold a trial to potentially remove him from office. Safety in the skies, front and center on Capitol Hill today. Federal Aviation Administration head Michael Whitaker gave his first congressional testimony since his swearing in last October. Lawmakers focused many of their questions on that incident aboard an Alaska Airlines flight where a door plug flew off a Boeing aircraft in midair. That prompted the FAA to ground all similar aircraft and announce changes to FAA oversight of commercial aircraft production.
We now have 20 inspectors on the ground in Boeing engaging with the employees in every phase of the manufacturing process.
Whitaker also addressed the ongoing shortage of air traffic controllers and possible expansion of controller training programs within colleges and universities to boost the ranks. As part of Black History Month, the White House is highlighting the Biden administration's efforts to promote equality. One of their investments is $7 billion in historically black colleges and universities. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, 2.3 million black students enrolled in higher education institutions in 2022 alone. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says it's important to make higher education accessible for all. She also stressed the importance of having diverse leadership.
One of my most favorite moments and impactful moments personally to me is when the president selected Ketanji Brown Jackson to be on the court, obviously the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court. And it was just such an inspiring moment. And I think it really not just moved folks here in the administration at the White House, but I think many, many communities, especially black women across the country.
The White House says they are committed to tackling other inequalities like gaps in health care and maternal mortality for black mothers. Coming up on First at 4, millions of people are planning to throw or attend a Super Bowl party this weekend. We're taking a look at the costs.
Plus, high pressure will bring some more dry weather on Wednesday and most of your Thursday, but rain chances are not far away. Those details after this break.